podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Welcome to Scarlet's Fever, the home of Saucepan Central and Westerer is Besterer.
Hello and welcome to this week's Scarlet's Fever with me, Lee G. Joining me as always is Big M and Catboy, the amazing crime-fighting duo. Good evening, gentlemen.
Yeah,
How are we? Have we recovered from Saturday?
yeah, I don't get as upset these days. There was a time when it was like life was over for a week. I'd be miserable. Like I wouldn't want to even look at a game of rugby. But now that I'm more into more rugby around the world, I've got teams that I support all over the place. So someone else will win, probably at some point.
So what you're saying is you'll change your hat depending on who's winning?
No, come on. Wales and Scarlets first, but I can still be happy for other people.
Oh, whoa, wrong way around. Scarlets, then Wales. You got to say in the right order, mate.
Cool, Betty. I was just asking how your week's gone, boys. That's all I was doing. Well, my week last week was mainly spent on Twitter and on social media, just banging away. No, that's the wrong two. Replying to people that were. Go on, I'll cut that bit, Matt. Don't worry.
Sorry, bud. I don't know why she's come out. She's fine. Back on.
Yeah. So my week last week was mainly spent replying to idiots on Facebook and Twitter, and then not replying to idiots on Facebook and Twitter, and then getting grief because I either replied to them or I didn't reply to them.
I saw the guy who you muted the thread when you were like, fuck this conversation. And then he tagged you and like, why aren't you responding to us anymore?
Yeah. I go, why'd you keep muting the threads? Because there's dickheads like you that keep butting up with stupid comments. There's a very straight thing, yeah? There's like, I don't like Marmite. So when I go to Tesco's and I go shopping, I don't buy Marmite because I know I don't like it.
Oh, yeah? Smart choice.
So when I have my crumpets, I either have Nutella or honey. At no point do I go, I wonder what Marmite
honey marmalade at
like.
Christmas. It was well nice.
Honey marmalade.
Yeah, I've still got it. I know. So what it was, long story short, we did this game at my girlfriend's parents' house, and at the end of it, you all end up with a gift. And my gift turned out to be a box of mini jars of marmalade.
Ooh, flavors.
So it was like alcohol marmalade. Now I don't think it was alcoholic. I don't think there was any, it wasn't anything proof. Yeah. But there was a champagne one, there was a gin one, there was I can't remember the other ones. There was one that was a jam, not marmalade. But the lemon and gin one on a crumpet was delicious. It was absolutely sensational.
Well, there's a conversation you didn't think you were going to have tonight, Matt.
I mean, I put butter on my crumpet. That's what it. I'm not as excited as you two.
But the important thing is that you don't
put on crumpets.
No, I was saying I don't put Marmite on crumpet because I know
you don't.
Like
I know you don't, but do other people?
I think they do.
It's on toast and bread. Does it go on crumpets?
You can put it on crumpets if you want. People will be complaining because I haven't spoken about Steph Evans' hair, and I'm not being enough Piers Morgan with you two.
I've gotten to the bottom of that one.
I need to be more Piers Morgan with you, apparently.
Oh yeah.
Right. Let's talk rugby, gents. Let's talk.
I was enjoying Marmite chat.
There'll be Marmite cake before long now. Calm down.
Put that one in your back pocket and keep that for another day. James will be on the messenger to me. He'll be on WhatsApp. Go, what the hell are you talking about with your Marmite? I love Marmite. You're just having a go at me because I'm an Osprey supporter. Yeah, I know, James. So let's talk community game. Let's talk community update. Mark, this should be a nice quick one here. So what have we got?
Yeah, not too much to talk about. Silly Six Nations in the middle of the season, cutting the proper rugby short as always. Premiership, we had Thursday night. We had the second repeat of last season final. Llandovery headed down to Cardiff. And we had...
Ooh, we're 7-0 up. Ooh, Lee, we're 7-0 up.
Hey.
I love that.
Let me get to it now. Let me talk about the boys, the main boys first. So we had senior Scarlets in Ed Scragg and Jack Davis starting. Jack Davis picked up a try, good for him. And then on the bench, we had Josh Morse, who made his debut for Llandovery, first start since he was with the under-20s in the Junior World Cup last summer. And Luca Giannini, both boys just getting game time. They're both with the under-20s, so great for them. It started as though it was going to be a good game. It was going to be an almighty tussle, like you just said. They went up 7-0. Cardiff held a 19-7 lead at one point early in the first half, but something just clicked with the Drovers, and it was 26-19 by half time to the Drovers, and another 4 tries later, and it was 54-26 to the Drovers. I mean, that's a hell of a win. 8 tries over Cardiff, and Cardiff are pushing hard for that final playoff spot, and they've more or less. I don't think they have got some competition, but I don't think they're going to be beaten out for it. So this is what Llandovery do to the team in 4th place for the playoffs away from home. I mean, can you really bet against them doing anything other than winning again this year?
Well, what Hugh was referring to there was I was on the so we did the rap pod on Thursday night while they were playing. And Harley sent me a screenshot.
No, he said it to you on the pod.
He said it to me on the pod. He sent me a screenshot of it as well. He said, "Oh, look, 7-0 up, 7-0 up." And then we got to the end of the pod, and I checked the score, and I corrected his tweet for him. So yeah, it was fun for a very short period of time, Harley. Well done. So who else did we have, Matt?
Well, Llandovery are back in action again this week. They're travelling away to Swansea, 1 o'clock kickoff. It's the only game in the Premiership. We had no games in Championship West, but we have got one this weekend. Llangennech are playing host to Newcastle Emlyn. That'll be a nice feisty one to go and watch. Into 1 West, Kidwelly beat Pencloud 30 points to 17 at home. Whitland just lost out 17-8 at home to Aberystwyth. 2 games this week. We've got Thursday night, Connectley Wanderers are travelling to Pencloud. And on Friday night, Hendy are playing host to One Eyelid. Nothing in 1 West Central for us. It's only Brynhaman for us, and they're not playing again until the 17th. We go into 2 West now, and massive congratulations to Armagh United. 12-3 winners against Carmarthen Athletic. First win of the season. They waited a long old time for this game, so well done, boys. And they don't get a week off. They're straight back in action. This Saturday, Armagh United at home to Mumbles, and Tenby are travelling away to Lacha. Now, I know we'll all be preoccupied, I should say, with Wales, England, but this is one you're going to want to just keep checking on the phone, see how Tenby are doing against Lacha, because this is a title fight, and these two are. Well, I think these two are probably got them close at max points available. So this could be the decider. So we go into 3.
And no one likes Lacha. Let's just remind everybody, in case they've forgotten, that no one likes Lacha.
No one likes Lacha. Okay. I think we've told them enough now.
No, you can never tell people enough.
I'll make sure to remind everyone I meet as I pass on the street. I'll wear a shirt. No one likes Lacha shirt. That's the first thing going in the shop.
I love Big M. No one likes Lacha. Yeah.
Okay, 3 West A now. Just the 1 game. Larne on their championship crusade, trying to win back all these games. 26-22 at home to St David's. Not exactly a result I expected from Larne. I would have thought a bit of a bigger gap than that. So well up for St David's, pulling that one out. And they are back in action and on the road this week, away to Haverfordwest on Saturday. No other games in 3 West A, nothing in 3 West B till the 17th. 1 game this week in 5 West Central. We had Pennebank hosting Comturk, and they went down 29-7. And that is it for our community update this week. It's a really sad, really short one this week, but with a massive, massive win to start for Llandudno and a good first victory of the season for Armagh United. So that's not too bad. I'll take that as the short ones go.
Cool. Okay. So let's come out of community and talk about under 18s. It's the only Scarlet in, well, we've kind of got the Exeter game to preview, but well, let's talk about the competitive game first of all. Let's talk about under 18s. Wednesday night, it's been moved to the Knoll.
Thank you.
I'm hoping it'll be on. I can't see any reason why this won't be on telly.
Yeah, I think it's already pre-planned to be on SBEDREC. So
okay.
And the kickoff's been moved to 7:30. That generally means it's going on.
Yeah.
On the live stream, because normally they're 7:15. So, but that is a massive game. That is winners take all. That's first v second. Obviously, we're going to win because our defense has been creaky. We're not going to lie. We know it has been, but our attack is tenfold better than anyone else's right now. I can't see.
Well, you can't say that.
Well,
you can't say anything mean about kids.
I'm not saying anything mean about the kids. I'm saying how good our kids
Trust me,
are.
Matt. You can't be. You have to be humble. You have to be respectful.
Come on. They're going to give us a game, but we're going to win. Is that enough for you?
No.
I'm paraphrasing your words and correcting you.
So genuinely, what Hugh, what you make of the game on Wednesday?
Hopeful of a win. Obviously, both sides undefeated so far. I haven't been tracking the opposition's results. I know that they've been winning, and I know that they've occasionally been on top of the league, but only in between us playing. Our points difference is better. That means we must be better. So we're going to win.
Yeah, we've played all the same teams and we're on top. So
how? I'm just going to have a quick look while you two talk.
How many team Sparrows have they got?
There is only one Sparrow, mate.
Don't say that. He's an Armagh Valley boy, and we know what happens with Armagh Valley boys around here. So let's be a bit quiet on it for a minute.
They're never quite sure where they belong. Under 18s men. Okay. So our points difference isn't on the table.
No, it's not. You got to work it out yourself.
Yeah. So Ospreys beat Cardiff 10 points to 7.
44-40 for us.
Yeah. They beat RGC 29-3.
Oh, we had a bigger score than that, I believe.
We put 40 odd on them.
Yeah. And they beat the Dragons 47-19.
We beat them 62-5.
62-5, was it? Christ.
62-7, 705.
64-7, we beat the Dragons. And 41-6, we beat RGC. So, yeah, if you look at that, we're probably favourites for that one. And certainly based on attack, you'd say that we're definitely top of the tree because, yeah, it's hard to say. I agree, our defence is a little bit kind of vacant every now and again. We do seem a little slack, particularly that Cardiff game. I don't know what happened in that Cardiff game, but found a way to win, and that's
all that matters in the end. But I will say this about our starting Lucid and Titter, the starting props. They've been immense. I think it was Tom Phillips and Jack Pritchard, if I'm right. They have been outstanding.
Good props names.
Yeah, good. Both of those boys have been outstanding, and they're not exactly small boys. I know this is under 18s, but these boys are still quite hefty. Obviously, we're not going to see them even if they do make it through to the senior game for a good few years. But they are some names to look out for, and they're already pretty big boys.
So, yeah, fingers crossed for everyone on Wednesday night. Hoping for a good game, and there'll be plenty of stuff after to discuss on that. So the other victory to discuss this week, kind of Scarlets related, but we think of them as part of the family, is Thunder. Hands up anybody that watched the game. didn't think so.
It was on at the same time as other stuff.
It was, wasn't it? It was really
It was.
awkward.
It's not just that. It's just Rugby Park isn't exactly the best place to watch rugby. It's so awkward to use, and I don't know if you boys have the same problems, but it patches in and out for me. So it just kind of makes it less.
Why not play it on a Sunday?
It would have made sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but we've started on a negative, and we shouldn't have done, because Thunder have won their first ever rugby match. Hooray!
And not just that, they get a chance to do a double over the same team. So obviously this was round 5 of 5 before the playoffs, and some very awkward playoffs, as Huws alluded to a few weeks ago. He couldn't get his head around it. So they split it into top 3 and bottom 3. And we've got Gwalia.
You need an even number of teams. Yeah. Unless they've got something really crazy planned.
It is what it is at this stage. So there's Gwalia, Brython and Glasgow in our little section. So we're heading up to Scotstoun to play Glasgow on the 17th of February. Yeah. And then we get a week off. Gwalia to play in Glasgow then in the Kingspan the week later. And the final week is back at Parc y Scarlets. I think it's March the 3rd, the Saturday. And it's Brython against Gwalia to finish off. So started with the Welsh Derby and it's going to finish with the Welsh Derby. So I'm happy with that. So it has the playoff against the other 2 from the 3 and then another random derby at the end? No, that's part of it. That's part of the 3. But I thought Lightning were in the one above us. Yeah, we 5th. They're 4th. Top 3, bottom 3. They 4th? Yeah, finished 4th. I thought they would do. They were going to do well. Good. Oh well. They were. I think they took losses. They lost against Edinburgh, which I think shocked them. And Edinburgh. Wolfhounds, obviously, they're undefeated. Not too sure how the Clovers game went, actually. So, yeah, they lost the Clovers game. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they must have only beaten us in Glasgow, and that happened to be the first 2 games. So we all got a bit hyped up.
Okay, well, best of luck to Thunder. When is the first playoff game?
17th. So we got. We'll talk about it properly next week.
Yeah. We might, if Martin pulls his finger out, actually get a guest from Brython on.
It's not me. I got to get it. It's the WIU. There's one guy who covers all of Brython, all of Gwalia. And I swear to God, it is like pulling teeth. Like, obviously, I can't name the guy, but I've spoken with one of the players. He says, yes, I'm happy to come on. Here's the name of the media manager. Drop him a message. He'll sort it. I think I've sent about 10 emails now, and I've had one back saying, who are you? And that was about it. So I'm really, really hopeful we get it through. But if anything, it's probably going to wait until after this is done and she can do it off her own back.
Yeah. It's just so stuck in the mud, isn't it? Just oh no. In the 80s, we only had interviews with the BBC and ITV, and now we're quite prepared to add Sky to that. Yes, very good. Excellent. Well done. That's keeping with we're moving with the times. Well done. Right. Okay. So let's move on to big boys stuff. Let's move on to Six Nations. And before we do that, so Hugh, have you got some magic numbers to whet the palate for us?
Yes. Scarlet's Fever broke all records for the most listened podcast in the whole of human history. It's Joe Rogan and then us for our interview with John Daniels. Not everybody liked it, but lots of people listened to it, and that's all that matters. The people who hate watched it and the people who love watched it will show up the same on the view counter. So yes, that's my magic number. That's thank you everybody very much for our big interview with John Daniels. It was a big deal, and we're very happy about it.
So all 623,537 people listened or watched. Thank you so much.
It wasn't that big, but it was our biggest, and within the our rap family, it was the biggest. But yeah, nobody forced anybody to sit there and listen to it. We said that this is what was going to happen, and if you don't like it, then okay, don't worry. Take a pill, sit back, relax, go watch Emmerdale, do something just to relax, let it get out of you, and just don't have a go at us because I spoke about Steph Evans. Anyone that's listened to this podcast over the last 2 years will know that I have an obsession with Steph Evans and his ridiculous haircut.
But the thing is, that Steph Evans' hair question was right at the end. So they listened to the whole thing and then got to that, and they were like, I liked it up until now.
You were doing well, and then you asked a stupid question. But yeah.
No, that's the point of it. You've got to have some light-hearted stuff in there. I mean, we do it with the clubs as well, how much is a pint, who's the best dressed, blah, blah, blah. You've got to have a bit of light-hearted fun in there.
Yeah. And Narberth, I've got back. I am going to tie up with Narberth at some point, but they're training away this weekend. I think they're playing a friendly down in Exeter some way this weekend as well. So I will do an interview with Narberth.
This is on the third week, I think you said this on the bounce.
Yeah,
so how many we can go now.
It'll sort itself out at some point.
Narberth's playing in southwest of England.
Yeah.
It's 1-2, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I said, down in Exeter way.
Sorry, I missed it.
It's what?
It's England week, isn't it? So,
Yeah, I just
teams generally tour. Well, you'll see teams either going out to Ireland this year or England. And it'll be the same next year. People will go to either Scotland, France, or Italy to see if they can get games. It's a lifelong tradition. I've been to Somerset a few times during this game week, and it's been fun. I was there in 2013 as well. So that was lovely.
Somerset tours are just not pleasant. They're just...
Oh, be happy, man. You're with the kids.
Yeah, I was there as a kid. There's still memories.
You used to live there, that's the problem.
We were under 16s. We played... so we travelled down on the Friday night, got bollocksed on the Friday night, got bollocksed on the Saturday night. We had to watch Bath play on the Saturday. We got absolutely bollocksed on the Saturday night. We were 16 on proper scrumpy, and then we played this game against the England. Whoever we were playing had made some sort of semi-final or final, and they were the dogs bollocks. And somebody knocked the ball on from the first kickoff, and we packed down. The ball left. And there's me in the 2 second rows just stood there still in formation going, I feel very well, boys. Just hold it there. The 2 second rows going, everybody else is gone. Everybody else is fucked off. Oh, go so yeah, that was...
That's Lee's influence on 15 and 16-year-old boys. So just so you know.
Yeah, I'd hit the roof if any of my touring teams did that. But there we go.
Depends on the age.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Scotland game first. Have you got any stats about the Scotland game, Hugh? Have you got any rugby related stats, or is it all vanity related?
You lost the rugby. So everyone was moaning about kicking in the first half, and then Sam Costello went off, and Ewan Lloyd came on. And I messaged James well, at least the kicking's going to stop.
Yeah.
And it nearly did. I'll come on to that later, but so while Sam Costello was on the pitch, he made 13 tackles. I think even still by the end of the game, he was Wales's third top tackler in the whole match. And he went off on 35 minutes. And he was melting boys as well. I don't know if you noticed. He absolutely was stopping them dead. So he got 13 tackles and 6 kicks. Ewan Lloyd, when he came on, 3 tackles and 2 kicks for the whole rest of the 5 minutes.
Have you got the passes?
Yes, I do. Costello made 8 passes while he was on the pitch. Ewan Lloyd made 17. But Wales had a lot more of the ball while Ewan Lloyd was on the pitch.
Yeah.
3 times as much.
But the second half was more about possession and speed of ruck ball.
It was more about forgetting what Gatland had said at half time and let's just play a bit of rugby.
Yeah, well, there's this quote that Gatland said, go out and play a bit of rugby. But when we came out at the start of the second half, Thomas Williams did exactly the same thing as Gareth Davis did in the first half and hoofed the ball straight down Finn Russell's throat, and he went, thank you very much. Here you go, pal. Go run 50 metres and score a try. And, I can't see how that's a change of tactic at half-time.
No.
It wasn't a change of tactic at half-time.
That Duan van der Merwe try, he went over, and then the lads on the pitch went, fuck the plan.
Yeah.
Let's just jouer.
You've now got a bunch of, not kids, but a bunch of players who haven't played 10 years under Gatland.
You say that, but Aaron Wainwright was the best player on the pitch, and he's Gats's baby.
To a certain extent, yeah. But Wainwright wasn't. Can't say he wasn't very Wainwright. He plays very structured, and he wasn't within that structure. I think he could see what was going on around him, and he went, "Oh yeah, I quite like playing this way," and it worked. To a certain extent, it didn't work by 1 point, but it second half was a shitload better than the first. So
playing against 14 men.
You always got to find a negative.
Well, I just got to be honest and consistent. The number of times we've been on this pod and we've had a inside centre sent off, and we've gone, "Oh, it's the hardest position to cope with." Scotland had their inside centre sent off, and we scored 2 tries. So
it just fits the rhetoric then, doesn't it? I mean, you can only play what's in front of you. I mean, we had in 21 when all those red cards happened, and you can only play what's in front of you on the field. And fair play from what we did about 52 minutes onwards. Those boys played what's in front of them, and they done the job. They should have had an opportunity to win it. How the hell Keith didn't ping a high tackle right in front of him? The seat belt when he was 26, 27. I don't know how he missed that, but outside of that, there's not too much to complain about.
So, for me, what changed was the speed of that ruck and the aggression going into that ruck.
Oh, yeah.
And I hate to say it, but Elliot D made a massive difference to the general energy in the pack around the pitch ahead of Elias. And again, Elias has played under Gatland quite a bit. I think he made his debut under Gatland.
He will have done.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure all of this team have made their debut under Gatland or Pivac.
Yeah, it would be.
Well, yeah, because what are the other options? Let's be honest.
Gareth Jenkins from all I think who's still around from then?
But
can we count Rob Howley? He done the 2013, 2017, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He famously never capped any new players. He played safe.
Yeah. Anyway, the point being that Elias has played within that structure a lot, and I think some of these older players are just paranoid about stepping outside of the playbook. If you got a slow ball, then you step back into the pocket and you put the ball in the air. Yeah. So we had slow rucks because people weren't hitting the rucks. We were trying to create fast ball, and it was either 1 ruck kick or 2 rucks kick. Yeah. And Scotland dealt with that a lot better than we did. Having said that, Scotland booted the ball off the park a bucket load more than we did. I think we gave Scotland. Well, no, we gave Scotland.
We had 20
3
lineouts.
Yeah, they had 4, and one of them came from a 50-22. So we only put the ball off the park 3 times.
By the way, on their 50-22, I thought the rule was it had to bounce in the 22 and bounce out.
No, just bounce in field.
It has to bounce in field and then go out.
I swear I've seen ones like what Finn Russell did not given. But
Well,
maybe
that's the referee was pissed. That's
Right.
what it was.
Or maybe they've called it, the play started outside of the 50. It's inside the half, because I've seen a few, start in the half and then end up back on the 22 when he does it, and they're like, "Oh, Christ, they can't we have one?" It's just little things like that he tweak in.
So, anyway, we only put the ball off the park 3 times, which, when you think about, how does Gatland play? Yeah, he keeps the ball on the park, and we run it a lot. So, yeah, I mean, I just think the energy in the second half, I think it was the attitude. Yeah, the attitude in the second half improved, and you can't single out individual players, but your second half players that came on made a massive difference.
Can I just talk about the people who were going after Costello at the moment? Because
Speak louder.
because people are saying, "Oh, Costello's shown that he's not up to scratch or whatever." Right. So the game plan that he and Gareth Davis were executing was clearly the one that they'd been told to do, and the evidence of that is that they pulled the exact same move multiple times, and Costello was stood within an inch, relative the same distance behind the ruck, and it was passed back to him, and it was the same exact thing off a line out. Then it was a tip on from Nick Tompkins to James Botham, and then it was back to Costello and hoof it in the air. It was clearly rehearsed, and the exact same thing happened multiple times. So that's just Costello playing the game plan he's been told to play. Now, maybe he should have had the awareness to go, this ain't fucking working, so I'm going to do something else. But when you're a brand new 10 who's just broken into the international side, I don't blame him for following the coach's instructions.
Yeah.
And by the way, he was playing behind a line out that couldn't catch a cold. So that's what we're judging him on. Is executing the coach's game plan and playing behind a forward pack that was a shambles essentially, and therefore that proves he's not an international 10. Don't make me laugh.
No, but you've got to put it to as well. You're in the first half of the game. You're not going to change your game plan in the first half. You're going to say, let's ride it out till half time. Let's see how it goes. If he stayed on the pitch, he didn't go off that HIA, he might have made the same decisions as the rest of the team did and go attacking.
By the way, it's not like Yohan Lloyd. I know Yohan Lloyd's a Scarlet as well. Came on and tore it up, because he didn't. He had, like I said, 2 kicks. He had 5 carries, 26 meters, but a lot of that was one where he caught it behind the line and ran back to the line. 0 defenders beaten, which is very unlike Yohan. But yeah, it's not like Yohan Lloyd changed the game. I'm getting very protective of Sam Costello because he's my favourite. That's what's going on.
Milky
That's all we've learned. The cat boy loves Sammy. That's all we've learned this week.
But
no, you got to protect the young boys.
But then we've seen quite a bit where actually Yohan Lloyd is better at fullback for Scarlets than he is at 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that kind of I thought Cam Winnett actually played quite well. I thought he had a decent enough game. Yeah, I think he was our top ball carrier.
He was.
That
was weird. I think he had an okay-ish start. I think some of his kicks weren't good, and I think some of his decision making of when to kick and when to run it back needs to work on. But it's the kid's first cap in his first senior pro season. I'm not going to hammer him.
No, I thought he played well.
Yeah, happy with it. He done everything he needed to do, and fair play, he done it with a broken jaw. So can't argue.
But would you put Yohan Lloyd at fullback ahead of Cam Winnett? Because I wouldn't.
Well,
I think this
don't have a 10 as it stands.
Well, yeah, and as much as people don't want to acknowledge it, this is partially Gatland's fucking issue. For all the people that complained about, Payback didn't select the same people 2 weeks in a row and all that kind of stuff. People got game time, and Gatland was as far the opposite of that as you can possibly get. Where you had a 25-man or a 30-man squad, and that was it. Regardless, you breaking into that squad or getting out of that squad was actually, it was more difficult to get out of that squad than it was to get into it. So, we're in a position now where we've got very few options at 10, where actually we've got quite a few talented boys, the likes of Sheedy, who possibly could have had more game time and what have you, possibly could have been looked after better by a Welsh region and stayed at home. You've got Kai Evans, who, for the best will in the world, isn't a 10. And
more of a 10 than Yohan Lloyd is.
Yeah, well, kicking wise, yeah, game controller, yeah. And I don't even know who you choose from the Ospreys as their first choice 10 at the Ospreys at the minute.
Well, whether Owen Williams injured, this is a bit of a roundabout, isn't it?
Yeah, Owen Williams has lost his place.
Yeah, you've got that. Is it Darren Edwards?
Dan Edwards.
Yeah,
Dan Edwards,
and then Jack Walsh as well, and those two you sort of swap in every now and then, so it's kind of hard to see. And you've got who's next to Cardiff? Is it Harry Wiley is the next proper 10 with Cardiff?
Yeah, so we're right down to the bottom of the barrel. We've gone from, I've got 2 players that will be there. Well, I've got 3 players, and we'll pick from one of those 3 players. All 3 of them have disappeared at the same time. Anscombe, Patchell, and Bigger, and just really poor squad management. That nobody went, hang about, Patch. Let's just hold on for a couple of. Let's just hold on to this season, and let's get you a contract somewhere where you can play this season, and then at least I'll have somebody there in the Six Nations. I don't know. It's just kind of. You don't want those you don't want your 10 being that inexperienced. You want them coming on for 7, 8, 9, 10 games to start with. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, my personal preference, when you bring in a new boy into the squad, you're either bringing him in for experience in the training, maybe a couple of minutes in 1 or 2 games, or you give him the shirt and you let him run with it for the whole thing. And with Costello, he's got to be given the shirt, end of. So you look at other boys like Yo and Lloyd, like we got no backup 10, and Costello hasn't. Well, he is our number 1 10. There's no arguing that. Some people might, but there is no one else who can step into that fold and play the game like Sam can. Johan, he is more of a 15 than a 10.
He's a different player. He's a different player and with different strengths, and do those strengths necessarily match to international level within a Gatland team?
No, nothing matches a Gatland team when you talk about running rugby or bloody spotting a gap. We've known that for over a decade.
What would happen if Bigger decided to come out of retirement now?
He's back in. Welcome back.
He's getting a golden carpet, isn't he? Here you go, Daniel. Have you
captain as well?
Yeah, he would be, wouldn't he? Shocking. Okay, so let's talk about what things we want to keep and what things we want to get rid of before the England game. If you had a magic wand, what would you change for the England game, and what would you keep and make better?
Who's going first? I think Catboy goes first.
I don't think you can keep anything from that game. You can't keep the first half because that was terrible, but you can't keep the second half because you can't play like that every week. You can't just go out and chuck it about like you're running around in a school field every week.
If it's successful, why not?
It wasn't successful. We lost. Only against 14 men.
Yeah, but did we win the second half? Yes, we did.
I care about the whole game, Lee.
If we replicated the second half, if we played 2 lots of the second half, we'd have won that game quite.
We scored 8 tries. I don't know. I don't think either is sustainable. I'd like to keep the attitude from the second half. I would like to keep Azarati looked good, to be fair. I mean, we've slagged him off a lot, but he was decent when he came on. Stood in at first receiver a couple of times. That was funny. I'd like to keep second half Aaron Wainwright. I'd like to keep Rio Dyer. I'd like magic wand. I'd like Josh Adams' knee not to be messed up. I'd like to fix that. That's about it.
Difficult. That looked painful. What about you,
Teddy
Matt?
Williams. I like Teddy Williams.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Matt? What was there anything there that you thought, yeah, this is a good thing?
I'd be changing the whole front row. I would like players who take head knocks to go off the pitch for the HIA. He had a good game overall, but Domikowski should not have been on that pitch after those first few minutes. That is my ultimate opinion. He did not look good. And the fact that they didn't even take him off for a HIA, I think it is absolutely shocking. When you're looking at player welfare and everything that goes on. I'd like Gareth Thomas to come back in as Luke said, prop. I think Cody Mead should have a couple of weeks to make sure he's all right, firstly, more than anything. Elliot D brought a lot more energy, but I don't know whether that was he thought this is my chance to go for it, as opposed to I'm a better player than Elias.
It was one of those. It was one of those situations with the players coming over the bench. It was either win or draw. Like, it can't be worse than the guy that you're replacing. So it's just on and just kind of throw it around. It's like nothing to lose kind of thing. So I think in that game, it was easier to come off the bench than start. The way it turned out.
I think something we've learned at tight end is that you need a lot more minutes under your belt in a season to play international. Brown just did not look up to it, and
his lifting at the line out wasn't great.
Azarati was better. We still need another level up, but we don't have that at the minute. So I probably would want to start Azarati and probably give Archie Griffin a chance off the bench. Will Rowlands is going to come back in. I'd like to keep David Jenkins in the squad. But you got you're in that position then where you've got a Gatland favourite in Adam Beard and then Teddy Williams. So I like Teddy Williams. I like the way he plays. I think he can develop massively. I didn't think that much of both of them, if I'm honest. I expected a lot more of him in the quiet areas, hitting the rucks, defensively and attacking. I think Alex Mann had a bit more of an impact when he came on. If you're going into the backs, then I want to see Robert.
Would you have started Alex Mann?
No.
No.
I want to see Wainwright at 6, Revel, and Mackenzie Martin at 8. I'd like to see that.
You can't change Aaron Wainwright for me. It's the one thing that went well. You can't go changing it. I agree that Tommy Reffel was excellent.
Yeah, he was outstanding.
With Alex Mann, he kind of plays how he played how I think a lot of us imagine how we would play on our first Wales cap. Just I'm going to play this like I'm never going to play another rugby match again in my life. So fair play to the guy.
Which is the way it should be. That is the way you should play every single game, whether it's national team or club team or whatever. I'm giving everything, and this may be my last game. Nobody knows when their last game of rugby is going to be. Well, there are very, very few people who know that's going to be my last game of rugby, and you have to work really, really hard to get to that stage where that's going to be your last game of rugby, where you get to pick and choose it. So, yeah, you look at some of the most talented people in the world that have a stupid injury. Morgan Stoddart is the one that sticks out for me. He should have been an absolutely amazing fullback. He would have kept Liam Williams and Halfpenny out of that side for a long, long time. One nasty injury. It was his international debut. He lasted about 10 minutes. Went over on his ankle, gone. That's it. And that was his career ended. And he was one of the most talented all-round fullbacks that I've seen for a long, long time.
I love Moggs. I loved him at Treorchy. I loved him at Pontypridd. Loved him at the Scarlets. He was outstanding. And I mean, he worked his arse off to come back and play that one game against the Dragons, got on the score sheet, and then that was it. He knew that he knew he couldn't play anymore, and it was important because I've seen him a few times, but when he had the full leg cast, and it was just. It was hard. You try to keep appearances when you're injured, but when you think no one's looking, you can just see it on your face, and it just doesn't look good. But if we go back to the back now, I don't know if Costello is going to be fit for this week. Another HIA. I mean, I'm assuming he wouldn't even be available for some game time with the Scarlets on the 7th. I think it's the 17th. So he's probably looking at for the round 3 now. So we're looking at Lloyd starting, and as bang average, or poor as you might say a player might be, he's got to start with Gareth Davis for that connection that he's got at the club. He needs that more than anything. The only thing I'd change in the back line, if Adams is fit, I'd probably put Grady on there, and I want to see Roberts in the Welsh jersey. And that's all I want to see. I don't care how good anyone plays at 13. I want to see Roberts give him a run. Well,
Watkin didn't do anything in this game. He had 4 carries for 8 meters, 1 pass, and that was it. Now, there's no stats for defensive positioning. I will acknowledge that. Scotland didn't make a ton of line breaks. And I think he made most of his tackles, but that's not a perfect stat either, especially not for a 13. But yeah, Watkin did not set the world alight. I think the only reason that he got the nod over Roberts is his ability to cover 12, if worse comes to worse, because at the moment it's Tompkins or nothing for Wales.
Tompkins is getting ragdolled every week. The
Battered.
guy is made of rubber because the amount of it's like someone's. You know when you watch a Marvel film and Hulk is there and
Yeah.
Hulk is just
Yeah.
and just everyone's like that with Tompkins, and he gets up and goes, right, next, give me the ball.
Yeah. He actually distributed more than he carried in this game.
Did he?
Yeah, he had
Bit bronze.
six carries, 21 passes, and 3 offloads.
Where did they go then? Because they didn't go to Watkin. Which...
They
Watkin
did
was
not
the
go to
guy.
Watkin.
Ah,
I'm going to drop a stats thing tomorrow, but if you compare Watkins' stats to other centres in the URC, he's not a
not
standout
there.
player, unfortunately, at the moment. So I think probably if George North is fit, I think he'll be back in. I think the reason that they didn't go for Joe Roberts is because they didn't want to do a new centre partnership. They didn't want to go Costello, Tompkins, Roberts. They just didn't want to go that and take that risk. But even in the mad Pivac era, Pivac managed to pick Tompkins and Watkin the correct way around 3 times. So I think that's what got it. I think that's as simple as it was.
Yeah,
That got Watkin in the cap.
Well, yeah, okay. let's not dwell too much on. So Joe Roberts at 13. If you put Joe Roberts at 13, right, and you put Tompkins inside him, who do you go to? And then Ewan Lloyd inside that. One, it looks like an under-18s lineup until you get to Grady playing the Hulk on the wing. So who do who's your go-to 10-meter man? Because there isn't one. Tompkins takes a battering, but he doesn't make massive amounts of yards. He takes the ball into contact and he ties up defenders, and then the ball comes back. But
you're going to have to offset plays. You're going to have to bring Grady off his wing.
Or
Assuming Grady plays.
Or you bring a flanker in.
I know, but who are the flankers is doing it? You have to
You
be
can get
Wainwright.
Wainwright to do that. Wainwright would love if he plays like that in the second half. He'd love that position as a second receiver. Bang up.
Might see Basham brought back in because Basham could do that.
But then I don't think he'd put Basham at 6. Genuinely don't. I think that the side will remain largely as it was against Scotland. The starting 15.
Only injury changes.
Yeah, there'll be Costello. I think Josh Adams will probably be not fit. Way or another, Josh Adams will be not fit, and that will be the excuse for him not to play this weekend. But I think
Rio Dyer and Mason Grady is an incredible wing pairing, though. To be fair,
it's what you want, though. You want your skinny, lightning fast guy and your big guy on the other side. It's a good combination.
We used to have a move where I used to move both of my wings to fullback, so they'd stand either side of the fullback, and then all 3 of them would hit in between the centres. It would just come up, and all 3 of them would fly up and hit in between inside and outside centre. And ball 1 was inside centre, ball 2 was fullback, ball 3 was ball 1 was one wing, ball 2 was the fullback in the middle, and ball 3 was the winger on the other side. Causes chaos. And if you drop a ball, you're completely fucked because you got no defence at all. But the amount of times that the ball to the fullback in the middle just cut people open was unreal. It's risky, but
yeah.
If you've got 2 proper speedsters, and you've got Roberts who has got top end pace in there as well, I think you can do stuff like that because you have the scramble defence with the pace to cover.
We would look weird on the pitch if we had Ewan. No, but I'm like, if our lineup was Ewan Lloyd, for people on audio listening, I'm doing this with my hand. If you had Ewan Lloyd, Tompkins, Joe Roberts, and then Grady on the wing, these are stood in the wrong order.
Yeah, it does it is a very small backline, and that's you know my thoughts on George North's defence. It's not exactly half decent. It's just not. And I don't care. You can shout at me and scream and tell me all the want that. Oh yeah, he's lovely going forward. But no problem with him going forward. It's half the time it's going backwards, and he's not even going backwards. That's the issue. He just stands in space and watches people run past him. But I fear he will be back on the pitch.
I mean, if we're talking about trucking it up, we have seen Roberts do a fair bit of that for the Scarlets. I mean, even last season as well, we saw him share the receiver role from kickoff with when Cal Mahoney wasn't there. So he does truck the ball up a fair bit, and he might look a small boy, but he's quite wiry. He can punch up if you need to. He's not going to be, like you said, your 10-meter, 5-meter every single time over the game line, but he will do it, and he will work his ass off.
So here's an idea that I floated last week, almost as a joke, but actually I think it would work. And when people think about it, they go, yeah, actually that would work. George North at 12.
He's never played 12 in his career.
Well, he's shit at 13, and that's never stopped him. But
it's his inside shoulder then, because obviously Sam can tackle. We know Sam can tackle. We've seen it in the stats, and we watched him play for well over a year. We know that boy can tackle. Johan Lloyd is a different type of defensive player, and if you put North at 12, that 10-12 channel is going to get rammed, and it is going to get exposed time and time again.
I don't think there's any possibility of it happening.
Well, Tom Shankly wants fucking Johan Lloyd on the wing, boys. So, do you know what I mean?
He must have seen a random clip from his Bristol days where he had number 14 on his back or something. I was like, oh, he can play wing. Let's put him there.
He dropped Rio Dyer.
Yeah, exactly. I think that if we're gonna beat England, so look into how we beat England, we have to confuse them. We have to do things that they're not ready for. We have to take quick tap penalties. We have to look to switch kick across midfield. We have to little grubber kicks, little dinks over the top, fancy moves off a scrum and all of this kind of stuff, because they're well set up when they're rigid, but when you start to break that down and you go, let's be a little bit crazy, they just fall to pieces. And I think that's the way to beat them.
Well, that's how they ended up winning against Italy. They slowed the game down massively, and they just kicked it off the park, essentially.
I think give them the ball. I think, ironically, the first half game plan probably works better against England, because England don't want the ball. So if you say, have the ball, lads, they go, we haven't practiced this. And I think it probably works quite well against them. I think that's why Gatland has had reasonably good success against England.
But then when you've got two sides that go, I don't want the ball, here, you have it. No, I don't want the ball.
It's not going to be a good game.
Well, you never know, because he can win it, show his attacking play. If we got Grady and Dyer on the wings as well, I mean, imagine the possibilities. And obviously, Johan Lloyd likely to be a 10. We've got those four that are going to be covering the backfield. It's probably going to be a lot of kick tennis. But one of them looks up and finds a gap. It's going to be so fun to watch when they actually take the ball up in hand.
So
yeah, when they're doing their research on Mason Grady and they're going, he's like Duan van der Merwe, but bigger. You go,
and faster.
Jesus. So, yeah.
So
Gatland has made a point multiple times in the press now of saying he thinks England are shit.
Yeah.
Every time he gets asked about England, he goes, we're not scared of them.
Yeah. This is they're overrated. So who'd you put at 9? Who'd you start at 9? Who'd you bring on?
Gareth Davies got to start if it's Johan Lloyd. He needs that confidence, that team combination. And as I don't even think Thomas Williams was that good at the start of the second half. I think it took until the game broke up for him to actually...
Well, he was playing 9 and 10. That was Thomas Williams' wet dream of a game. That was like how most Cardiff games go. Because he's got like a 10 who doesn't want to... Okay, fine. And then he just was picking it up. By the way, people said like, "Oh, Thomas Williams kicked way less than Gareth Davies." No, he didn't. Thomas Williams kicked the ball 9 times. Gareth Davies kicked it 6 times. So there you go. But yeah, we went through this with Pivac for about 2 years. The 9 that came off the bench, everyone said he's got to start next week, and then they did swap him around, and then next week they said, "Oh no, they got to go back and play it."
Yeah.
So Thomas Williams always looks great off the bench. On Rap last week, he said Thomas Williams is always better off the bench. He was good off the bench, so keep him on the bench.
Keep him on the bench.
I wouldn't mind seeing Hardy if we keep into that game plan, because his box kick is better.
Yeah.
Is done better than Cowdor and Thomas. When Kieran does actually pull his finger out, and generally for Wales he does, his kicking is shit hot, and that's probably something that will be really, really play into Gatland's tactics this week.
And that's what I think we need to do. We need to almost ignore what happened last week and pick a side that's going to beat England.
Yeah.
Not worry about what happened in Scotland. We've seen, we've had a few clues there about who can play an expansive game, who's got a bit of nous about them. But you're going to play England, and you're not going to have the opportunities. It's going to be a much more controlled game unless we break it up, unless we go, this is how we're going to play this game. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to. They're not going to. Scotland quite like throwing the ball around and let's do some crazy stuff because they got Finn Russell. England have just got misery torn throughout the side. Just a whole bunch of miserable players throughout the side. So
what have England got? Who's England's best player at the moment?
What's the chap that's injured? Marcus, what's his face?
Smith.
Marcus Smith.
That's the boy. Yeah, him.
Okay.
I can't even remember his name.
He's injured.
Exactly.
Who else is good? None of their wingers.
A new winger.
Freeman.
Yeah, he was decent.
He literally plays for Northampton Saints, which in my mind means that he is an absolute like just taking up space. Like, what is a Northampton Saint?
I think that comes from where Hugh lives now. I think he's showing some.
No, it's not that. They just do nothing. Why are they here? So, but who's that new guy they got at 12? Dingwall? Did he do anything? Oh, Henry Slade. Henry Slade is England's best player.
You think?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a class act.
What a sad state of affairs.
It tells you it was good against Italy.
So let's make a couple of let's make some predictions and then wrap it all up. So first of all, prediction for Scarlets under 18s against Ospreys. Let's get some score predictions out of you two. So Hugh.
No, I want Martin to go first.
No, come on. Go on, your turn. I tell you what, I'll go first. I'll sort the pair of you, okay? I'll go first. So I'm going to go Scarlets 30.
Go. You're going low.
Ospreys 18.
Oh, that's lower than I thought. I've gone for a rather high-scoring game. Scarlets 54, Ospreys 33.
Wow.
I'm going Scarlets 25, Ospreys 12.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I see that. Right, so Wales and England, or England and Wales to do it properly. Martin?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see much free flow in rugby unless the game breaks up. It's not going to be from structured plans. I know that much. Let's go. It's going to be more kicking, probably 2 tries. 23-19 Wales.
23-19. Okay, Hugh?
I don't think either side is scoring more than 20 points. 19-17 to Wales.
19-17. Okay. I'm going to go for an absolute turgid affair, and Wales will once again come victorious 10-9. Wales by 1.
You should have gone like 31-3 or something.
No, it is. Do you remember the 10-9 game where
Yeah.
Ian Evans scored right in front of me. When he touched that ball down and he stood up, he was looking right at me like that, right in front. There's a British. If you look at it from the far end, he scores right in front of a British Gas
board.
I'm right behind the British Gas board with my big brown leather jacket on.
Are you taller than the board at this point? Because we are talking a long time ago.
What is it with you lot tonight? And they did this on the rap, like when we spoke about Barry John, and they were like, "Oh, are you old enough to see Barry John play?" Fuck off, bastards!
This has been my thing. I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. Come on.
I know. So
just deal with it. I mean, Christ, you played with Barry John's grandfather, didn't you?
I give up. My dad played against Barry John in training, but yeah, it was weird. It was different back then. You saw a lot of the bigger sides used to come down to West Wales for a weekend of rest and recovery, and they'd go on the piss in Tenby.
My dad reckons he saw Phil Bennett playing in Gateshead, but we can't figure out why he would be there.
Is London? No, I wouldn't be London Welsh games. Too far in there.
It's in the northeast, Mark.
What am I thinking of?
I don't know, but Gateshead is near Newcastle.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think it's something else now. I've got that stuck in my head now.
He thinks it might have been a Barbarians game, but can't think who it would have been against.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been Newcastle. No, Sale. No.
No, 3 hours away.
Yeah, it's the other way, isn't it?
Yeah.
No. I met Phil Bennett once. All right. So I used to go to the gym lunchtime every day in school. Yeah. Even when we had a game after school, I'd still go to the gym at lunchtime. And our sports centre had some squash courts. And I was coming out the gym one day, and this little diddy fellow walked past me, and I looked at him and I went, that's I'm sure that's Phil Bennett. And he walked into one of the squash courts. And I was on my way out, and I said to the receptionist, I said, "Was that Phil Bennett? Is Phil Bennett just gone to play squash in Pembroke?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, he comes down a lot. He plays with Phil, who's the sports centre manager. They're good friends, being good friends. He comes down at least once a week to play squash with Phil." And I'm like, Phil Bennett, one of the greatest rugby players on the planet, has been coming to Pembroke to play squash with a guy that I used to play rugby with, and he's here, and nobody's told me, and I didn't get an autograph or anything. What the fuck's going on? It was really weird. I was like hanging around outside the squash court just in case I could see him before I went back to lessons and stuff. It's really bizarre. Anyway, we've gone off on a tangent again. Who's predicting scores for England Wales?
We all have.
We've all done it.
Oh yeah, we have, haven't we? Yeah, I said 10-9. Okay, right, there we go. The Jets.
That must be the end then.
Right, I think that's the end. I've got
a whole Scarlet's Fever pod without really talking about the Scarlet's game. We've done well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Exeter.
Well, it's 17th, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Forget it then.
So, oh yeah, no, yeah. You said 17th.
Munster on the 17th.
Yeah, Munster 17th. Yeah, February.
So
10th.
we've got no idea who's going to play in this game.
Not
everyone who's available. It's going to be like a 35. Well,
Charlie Titcombe masterclass incoming.
Yes. Should have been playing for the Quins the last couple of weeks. I don't know why he wasn't allowed to play last week of January. We didn't have one. Wrapped him in cotton wool.
Yeah.
Could have had a fourth win for the Quins. I've been trying to predict the Quins wins throughout the season. I'm working out, okay, when Scarlett's going to give him back? It's trying to work out what day it's going to be, the 23rd or the 30th of March. I'm not sure.
So, yeah, there aren't actually that many players that aren't injured or tied up somewhere else.
Okay, let's try and guess the team then.
Go on then. Props.
Sam O'Connor?
Stephen Thomas and Wyn Jones.
Stephen Thomas.
Will both be available.
Oh, I keep forgetting about Wyn Jones.
I've actually made a team up already, so I'm well prepared for this.
Oh, man. Well, it'll be Sean Evans or Edwin. What's his name? Swart.
Yeah.
Harry O'Connor.
Or
Sam
No.
Wainwright.
that's him.
Okay, so we've got all our first choice tight ends. That's a relief. Sam Lousy,
If he's fit.
he's fit.
Oh,
Alex
that
Craig,
dodgy
who
ankle.
I'm outraged wasn't picked for Scotland.
Yeah, we
Why?
did.
We get to keep him. He's fine.
Yeah.
I think we've got all of
Disrespectful.
I don't think we've got a second row with anyone, so that's
Morgan Jones. We got all our second rows, haven't we?
Jack
Yeah.
Price as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, imagine Via Fafita plays in this.
Yeah.
Well, so back row has got to be the animal on the blind side.
Ben.
Yeah.
Have we talked about the TikTok thing with him on the pod?
No, I don't think so.
No, because we had John Daniels last week.
So we put a clip of Ben Williams's hit against Edinburgh on TikTok. So we put it on YouTube and Twitter. So a lot of people have seen it. We put it on TikTok, and TikTok took it down for being violent and graphic content. And I tagged Ben Williams in it and said, "Do you want to frame this, mate, and put it on the wall?" And he liked that. He liked the tweet. So
it is weird. It's just a rugby tackle. It was a really good rugby tackle.
They put a little disclaimer because for a while it just kept it up.
Yeah.
But with a disclaimer, and the disclaimer said, "This is being done by trained professionals. Do not try to copy it."
Yeah, I thought that was better. I thought that was a better way of doing it. Okay,
he cooked really good in that video, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. So animal at 6. Who have we got at 7? Dan Davis back.
Dan Davis might be. We don't know his condition, but I reckon Leatherbarrow.
Yeah, Leatherbarrow at 7. 8. Let's assume that we're going to wrap Fafita in cotton wool and not play him in a friendly against Exeter. So, who are you going to put at 8?
Hopefully, Carwyn will be fit.
Really? I thought he was out for like all of the season.
No, the only ones who we've got out for the season, I think, is Penn and McLeod. I think they're the only ones who are season long.
Right.
They're both number 8 options as well.
Yeah.
They are, fair play.
Oh, you can play Ben Williams at 8 and play someone else at 6.
No,
who else we got? We've only got Ewan Shenton then, really, I think.
Well, Ben Williams started the first game of the season at 8, so it needs must.
No, I'd keep him at 6. I would keep him there because once you get into the rhythm of playing 6, you really start to hit your rhythm. And the way you look through the scrum, the way you bind on a scrum, where you hit the scrum half off a line out, all of that kind of stuff, it just kind of, when it starts to work, it really starts to work. And if he can dominate being 6, that's what we need. There are plenty 6 and 8s, there are plenty 6 and 5s, 6 4.5s, and all of that kind of stuff, 6 and 7. We need an out 6. And he's
Darren Jones.
Well,
Plumtree
will be an 8.
Nah.
Mark my words.
I can't see him.
He's a 6. He's got 6 written all over him.
No, 8. Anyway, scrum half, Archie.
Archie, halfbacks is Archie and Charlie. It could be great to watch, that will be.
We need to come up with a name for that. The halfback
Archie?
keys.
No, well, when it's Archie and Costello, they're the Milky Bar kids. So that's definitely those two.
In my head, Archie Huws and Charlie Titcombe are best friends, even though they probably only met each other like in September. But in my head, they're best friends. I don't want anyone to ruin that, so please don't.
The best friends. There we go.
Yeah. I think if you can start getting them to work together against people like Exeter, then the future becomes, you start to see.
So that's a takeaway for this week. Then we need to think of a name for Archie and Charlie as a combination.
Okay. 12.
Charchie.
Eddie, if he's fit, doesn't he?
Is Eddie fit? Okay.
If he's fit, we don't know the state on any of our players. That's where we are.
Well, we had a promise last week that communication would improve. and things are going to change. I can feel it. So that's hopefully.
It might be Foxy then.
Yeah. If it's not Eddie, we're genuinely down to Foxy or
Scott.
It might be Foxy and Scott.
I think Johan's going to be given the nod at 13.
Who?
Do you think?
Oh,
Johan
yeah,
Nicholas.
sorry.
No, Nicholas.
That's disgraceful.
Sorry. I thought Johan's with Wales.
He's on Welsh duty. What you on about?
Yeah, sorry.
So, wings then.
Tommy
We've
Lewis.
got all our wings, haven't we?
Colombia.
See, now that is a combination on wings that I would like to see. I think that's a genuine balanced combination, and sending both of those two down the centre channel together, that gives me time to change the pants, boys, because that's exciting stuff. Fullback,
hoping the J-Mac is back,
and if he's not,
then Tommy Lewis has to switch to fullback, and we bring in Seth Evans or Callum Williams for the win.
Blimey. Yeah, we are getting down to it, aren't we? Okay.
We're not making a big fuss about it, unlike other people.
No, we're not saying, you've only got 12 players. We can't do this.
But to be fair, I think we done that a couple of seasons ago, when we had like a 25, 30-man injury list.
Yeah, but now we've grown up.
Well, no, it's part of where we are now. We've got to find ways to go forward with what we've got. As much as we want to stand on a street corner and go, I don't want to start walking from here. When you're standing on a street corner, when you want to get somewhere, you have to start walking. So, as a team, we've got to start walking together. So let's just take that as Lee's philosophy from tonight.
We haven't even named a bench yet. Who's gonna be on the bench for the back?
Let's not even go for fucking backline on the bench, because let's go with an 8-man bench, forwards only bench.
Every single player that's available, other than probably for Fafita and Lousy, possibly even Craig, are going to be down there for this.
Yeah.
So we might have a 23-man squad. Might.
But you'll be allowed a 25-man because it's friendly.
Yeah, but if we got enough fit players, that's what we're going on.
Exactly. Yeah. So who Exeter got then? Exeter are missing. They'll
have all their Welsh boys, apart from Faye Weboso, obviously.
So who are they Welsh boys?
and Daff Jenkins, obviously. So they'll have Joe Hawkins.
Yeah.
God, Exeter have got a really forgettable team. Hang on.
They just happen to be very good.
No, they're not really.
They don't have many internationals, but they got massive,
some good solid
league European high standard players that are just outside of the England national team, which is perfect for Exeter.
Yeah. That's just what you need.
I've googled the squad. It's no good. This could be a fake Exeter site. I wouldn't know the difference.
No. Go on and pick it.
Will Beckinsale, Oscar Beckerleg.
That sounds good.
Richard Capstick.
I've heard that.
Toby Clinch.
Anyway. Are you done? Oh, cool. I got one thing.
Oh my God. One's actually called Ian Gentry.
Right.
Gentry as in landed.
Okay, so we're just going to assume that Exeter have got a whole load of people with funny names that we've never heard of. We've got Titcombe. Yeah. Let's
Grubb.
Yeah.
Louis Gully.
He's going through the whole sodding squad, Mark.
I'm only picking out the funny ones. Will Hayden Wood.
Will do what?
Will Hayden Wood.
Sounds like a nice chap.
Will Hayden
Jack
Wood.
Innard.
That's weird, isn't it?
Jack Innard is a real one. God, I thought Northampton Saints were the funny name capital of the world. This one's got his name the wrong way around. Kane James. Should be James Kane, I think you'll find. They got a lot of Welsh in there. Ewan Jenkins. Anyway, I'm bored now. So
right. Okay. Right. So I said last week,
goodbye.
when I finished last week, I did my joke of the week, and I had it from a joke book, right? So this week, so I said that I had Dad's jokes cards as well, right? So completely random. I've not even started these. So I'm going to do that, and you're going to say stop, right? And then I'm going to read the joke.
Before, can we compare this? So let's see what is funnier, Lee's joke or the name Patrick Schinkerling.
Fuck yeah. Right. I'm not going to say this is my joke. This is my joke. I'm reading off a card, right? So who's
This
going to
is
call it?
Lee's joke.
Right, go on, Mark. You call it. Ready? That was shit, Martin. That was absolutely fucking awful. Right. You can't be trusted. Somebody.
Stop.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So I'm going to do that one there. Did you hear about the man who misspelled a name on a headstone? He'd made a grave mistake.
Oh, very good.
We'll do one more. Ready? I've got that one. I've got that one out there. All right, Martin, you get to pick one this time. One. Don't be a knob, Martin. Right, stop. What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie? Sophisticated. Right, on that, gents.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Zach Wimbush.
Right, it's time to go. It's time to go. Thank
you.
you.
Know.
We'll catch up. We'll do this all again next week. Have a good one, gents. Good night. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Scarlet's Fever podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, rate and review wherever you listen to us, as it really helps us spread the word. You can find us on all the usual social media channels or email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. And remember, whatever the question, rugby is always the answer.
Sports Social Podcast Network.